At least there's Westworld Season 4 to enjoy. Westworld. At least there's season Westworld. There's Westworld. There's Westworld season. At least. Bring yourself back online. What is the nature of your reality?
I'm in a dream. The seasons, they are good, fun, complicated, confusing, new characters, new worlds.
Cognition only, no emotional
I
affect.
really do. Seasons 2 and 3 suffered complications beyond their control. Too many characters, too many villains, way too many timelines.
And now? Three episodes in, and the spirit of its namesake is back as Westworld Season 4 makes us all think, wonder, theorize, and fear for what may come next. 7 years definitely ensures for a wild starting line, and I'm here for it. We get a taste for what each character is up to, all within the confines of that 3-episode period, which I deem the make or break it moment for TV shows. Every character's new situation likewise draws questions on both their pasts and futures, allowing our fabulous writers, Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, to play with time like no other previous form of entertainment yet. This should go without saying, but spoilers ahead for all 3 episodes of Westworld Season 4. There is no question that Westworld Season 1 remains one of the greatest pieces of television there is, yet subsequent offerings did little to sweep the overall acceptance of the series into the broader mainstream. Sure, Westworld took home ample praise and excitement in the era of Game of Thrones, yet Season 2 proved much too overly complicated for most viewers, while Season 3 simply did not deliver what was promised. As Rolling Stone's Alan Sepinwall writes, Season 2 in particular seemed less concerned with telling a story than with outsmarting Redditors who sniffed out Season 1's big twist moments after the character in question was introduced. Despite its dual timelines and rather complicated narrative weaving, Season 2, in my opinion, is just as good as its predecessor. It just takes 2 full watch-throughs to really enjoy and appreciate, which, granted, is really only available to the superfan. As for Season 3, even I, a self-described Westworld superfan, was a bit underwhelmed. We got some sick sequences and fights, main among them being Maeve versus Dolores, which culminated in a military-grade EMP going off. And while I don't think that the near-future world itself came alive as the showrunners had intended, I do feel there are bits and pieces of Westworld Season 3 that make its outer world feel right at home. The utilization of an all-seeing, all-knowing, fate-writing AI was interesting but also difficult to sell as an overarching villain. Still, Season 3 does have its enjoyers, and I do feel it's worth exploring. Now, more than ever, as Season 4 dives headlong into golden territory, sticking with the series has certainly proven advantageous. Maeve and Caleb rejoined forces 7 years after the events of Season 3, picking back up with a all-too-familiar
Hello, darling.
The duo's trajectory sees them entering into this newfound 1920s mafia-inspired theme park nestled into the empty deserts of Nevada and California. Along their trip, they discuss prior indulgences witnessed via swift flashback sequences regarded by Maeve amid her time in the cabin. It is with these 2 characters where the past and present feel wholly uncertain as the pair tries to face the future with little insight. Questions abound on their time spent at the destroyed facility housing Solomon, or what appears to be that, and what exactly happened following the close of their so-called war. Bernard has come back from the sublime, a reincarnation of Doctor Strange at the end of Infinity War, narrowing down all the available possibilities for humanity's survival. His role in this story is moderator, ensuring the path of least resistance is taken as he attempts to thwart the evil Charloris' reign in the face of his inevitable demise. His time spent in the Valley Beyond begs many questions, most prominent among them being its own fate in this destruction-bound timeline, as well as the metaphysical whereabouts of Teddy, last seen at the foot of Christina's building, watching over her in the heat of the night. Of keen importance is Bernard's present setting, since viewers are left uncertain as to whether this is the same 7-year time gap experienced via Maeve and Caleb, or if this is several years into the future, the latter of which I lean. Dolores/Christina is yet another subplot that is entirely too confusing to accurately place, and the theories that circumvent her story currently are wildly imaginative, one of which claiming she could be the in-world basis behind the Dolores from the Westworld theme park. As far as I can tell, however, Christina is a mere puppet in a fictitious world wherein humans are being replaced by hosts. But each additional episode, minus the third given her absence, have alleviated little answers on the overall nature of Christina's newfound role in this haunting reverie of a 4th season. Is she, like Maeve and Caleb, 7 years into the future? Or more? What's going on with this tower? How is she even allowed to leave the city limits if it's a theme park, as many have theorized? And lastly, what does her role as a narrative game designer actually mean in the context of Westworld Season 4? Charloris and the host in black are doing all that they can to ensure a swift and simple takeover of the entire human population. It's clear that while Dominion is certainly on the horizon, Charloris has some additional plans for the human race, context of which has remained clouded since she menacingly told Jim Navarro of his newfound role. We witness his fate in the latest episode, a grim foreshadowing of what's to come. The hostified William is off being a badass, playing golf with the U.S. Vice President's brain matter and telling C-suite cartel executives to slice their own throats. He's even more menacing than he used to be, which should be saying enough, but the questions still remain. Are there multiple hosts in black? What is Charloris' ultimate goal with leveraging human hosts? And will we ever see the real William break out of his cryotherapeutic shackles? All that being said, there is no real tangible, definitive understanding of when characters are actually set within the timeline, adding a whole new layer of peculiarity to this season. As to the so-called key to saving the world, or the mysteriously named character of simply C, it's clear this is Caleb's daughter all grown up. Yet, is it? One of the most thought-provoking questions I have on the nature of her reality within this story is her knowledge of that maze symbol. What does it mean to her? How does she know it in the first place? And how will she, along with this buried weapon, save the human race? What the future holds for Season 4 and beyond is anyone's best guess. I'm sure of one thing, though, and it's that Bernard will eventually lose sight of the path, or something unexpected will happen that he hasn't accounted for or anticipated. One question I have centers around Season 3's whole outlier plot. Where are all those people subdued in cryosleep? Then there's also this weapon that C and Bernard are now going off in search of. Maybe this weapon could be the AI Maeve and Caleb were sabotaging in those flashbacks. Or what if it's the human William still locked away in his cryo chamber? Lastly, I'll leave you all with this. Will we ever see Haniero again? Or that severed head of Musashi/Dolores? We're almost halfway through the season, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. With that, it's back to my favorite feline simulator. Until the next episode airs, which is in the next 20 minutes.